Hey guys, this is HotNoob here, and this is PHP tutorial number 8. In the previous video we went over functions and variable scopes, and in this video we're going to be going over variable references, and then we're also going to be going over functions a little bit more and the relationships with references and stuff like that. So I'm just going to start off by writing down the PHP tags and creating a variable and call this giving it the value of something, and then I'm going to say ref equals $var. I'm going to put in some echoing junk, $var equals and then I'm going to duplicate that line. Whoops, I forgot to add in a little bit here so we can actually distinguish the difference between two of them, because as you can guess I am just dumping the two ones. So we have $var equals something and $ref equals something. Okay, sorry about that. Moving on. So we have it outputting it, and what's happening here is, well, it's pretty simple. We're declaring a variable called var, and we're assigning the value of a string called something, or I mean with something in it. Oh, gotta think of better things to put in these variables. And then finally, we're calling the variable var, and we're taking its value and putting it into ref. So, just as an example, I'm going to sort of change it so you guys can see what I'm trying to do here. So if we say ref equals something else, refresh it, ta-da! And what reference is basically we just put in that little and sign, which is shift plus 7, just in case you guys can't figure it out, and poof, as you can see, all of a sudden this ref is now also changing the var. What happens is PHP sort of takes the address of this variable and puts it into ref, you know, something like that. And so basically what we have is these two variables are pointing to the same little location in memory. Now, it's not exactly like that. It depends on how the PHP developers did it. They could point to the same point in memory, or what could be happening is var could have a memory thing, and then this, you know, it gets all contorted. It's best that I don't explain it. I'm sure you C++ and C# guys get it already. So yeah, I might as well be moving on. And if I go a little bit slow or whatever, right, if this video is a bit lower quality than my other ones, is mainly because I'm not so great with references. I'm going to move on a little bit, and I'm going to start by creating a for each loop. I'm just going to use the get thing, and for each get as $value. You guys have seen this before, right? Then echo gets, sorry, then we do something to it, so I'm just going to echo it there, and we have no variables, so I'm just going to create one. Ta-da! Yeah, I'm going to actually create two loops. So this one is just a little output loop, and I'm going to put another one to actually change the value. So what happens if we were to just do value equals, and we wanted to apply something to it? So let's add a string to it. Okay, sorry about that. And then we add a string to it, or a character, or whatever. Let's just add a little ending bit, end bit, like that, something like that. Refresh it. Oh my god, nothing's happening. So what happens in the for each loop, in this case anyways, we're basically going through each little thing, each little key, and then we're saying assign value equals, ta-da, right? We're looping through each one of these, and we're literally assigning the value to this variable, right? So, as some of you guys can guess, what's happening next is we're going to put that reference there, and what happens is the for each loop, rather than assigning the value of it, it assigns a reference to it, so that when we add this little end bit, it actually adds it on. And just in case you guys, for some odd reason, you think that it's not actually doing anything, If we do it inside the loop, and just get rid of that so we can actually see something, it outputs it like that. But yeah. Why is this important? There are a lot of cases where you want to apply filters to the get vars, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you guys a great example, some really good bit of code for security and stuff, but you got to keep your code clean, otherwise this could really backfire on you. But it will add in a lot of protection, and normally servers, what they do is they already they have this magic quote thing, but PHP is getting rid of it, so you have to really be aware of this. You put in this little thing here, and you'd say value equals MySQL. Now normally what you do is you do real escape string, but because I don't have a MySQL connection, right, I'm not connected to SQL already, I'm just going to use MySQL escape string. The difference is MySQL escape string is done through PHP, and with real escape what happens is it queries the server and it uses the server to escape the string. And so I'm just going to get rid of that and value, right? But normally what you'd want to do is you'd want to use real string escape, and it is a bit slower than the escape string because of that whole extra procedure, but it is a lot more secure. So whoops, come back here. Yeah. G equals, yeah. And then, oh yeah, we have to output it somehow, so you know what, just for this example, or so let's do it sort of like how we would use it. So get G blah blah, and we want to output it. Ta-da! And then if someone were to try to do an SQLii injection or something, that's ta-da. Now the issue with this is if you're not inserting it into SQL, it can cause a lot of issues and whatnot, so that's why you need to have really clean code to get away with this. But for the most part, you really do need to do this manually, and I'll be going over a bit more about this when we go into SQL and stuff like that, and databases and junk like that. Finally, we have references and functions. So I'm just going to declare a function here and call this getCharacter. Now this is just going to be a really stupid function that's going to make no sense why we even have it, or why I've even made it. Ta-da! What it does is it gets the first character of the string. So I'm going to say character 1 equals getCharacter, and then we put in a string ABCD, and ta-da! And we're just going to output character 1 fresh, and then we have A, and I'm just gonna, yeah, ta-da! I know, very useless function. Why don't we just go and, you know, get it from the string? Well, because I have a point to make. What I'm going to do next is, well, actually, let's just talk about this. What do you do if you have to output more than one parameter at the same time? Or, well, I'll continue on the next part a bit later. What you do is, if you're really lazy, or you don't know how many parameters you need to output, you just output an array, right? String 0 and then string, which in this case is even more useless than before. And then what we get is we get a char array, and then just to make this easy so I don't have to type too much, character 1 equals char array 0, and get the same effect. Or I'm not sure if PHP allows me to do this. It's been a while, so I don't. It should. Nope, it doesn't, but it should. Makes sense that it would, but it doesn't. Anyways, yeah, that's one way of doing it, but as you can see, it's, you know, pretty messy. You gotta declare a whole new variable afterwards, so it can be pretty inefficient and whatnot. So the next thing we can do, or we can do this with the next way of doing this is with references. So let's call this character 2, and 2 equals 1. But how do we get it out, right? So, well, this makes absolutely no sense, so I'm going to add in this reference thing, then it'll make a lot more sense. So, I'm just going to put in chair 2, and just because, so you guys don't get too confused by this, because I know in the last video I used the same inputs as, the same names and stuff, so, yeah. Change this a little bit. Sorry, chair 1. I'm going to call this param2. No, just param2. Just so you guys can sort of see a difference between those two, and then chair 2. And then finally, we're going to output it 2, and we get AB. Ta-da. Yeah. I know. Now, there's also another good use for it. If you're copying over large amounts of data, it can slow your server down, or if you're really just sort of lazy and stuff, and you want to do some string manipulation. So this is going to be sort of a useless thing again. So I'm just going to call this string replace. Sorry, without underscore because there's already one. So string replace, and in it we're going to, well, I'm just going to go string replace. Then there you got my nice little info. So we got mixed search, replace, and subject. So we're going to move the same thing here. So assign search, replace, and then subject. And then finally we're going to put in a nice reference thing there. Search. Oops, I have a typo there. Search, then replace, then subject, and then I'm going to say subject equals. Now this isn't very efficient, but as you can see, it saves a lot of effort. So say string equals blah. And then we're going to apply a string replace with our special string replace function. We're going to search for blah, and we're going to replace it with yeah, that works. We put in string, and then finally we're going to output our results. And what happens? We get blah ha ha. Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much it for references. Yeah. Got 2 minutes to spare, so yeah, you guys can come check out my blog at hotnoob.com, and I'll see you guys later.